Welcome back to the channel. I'm the Rational Gooner, and it's nice to see you all again. Pretty devastated, to be honest with you. It's been an interesting day. Waking up at around 11 o'clock, having a nice breakfast, checked on the team news as kickoff where I am would be at 12:30. Getting excited, getting deluded, having a few beers, watching the build-up, and then ultimately the kickoff. So the Carabao Cup final is in the books, and the history books will tell us that Manchester City have won the Carabao Cup for the season 2025 to 26. 2 goals from Nico O'Reilly, 2 very well taken goals from Nico O'Reilly. However, there were unfortunately instances for both goals where they were avoidable. I'm devastated, to be honest with you. It's hard not to speak off emotion. That's why I gave it until now before I put this entry on there. I'm not that down about it because there are bigger prizes to fight for. However, this could have been the catalyst for us. This could have been the one big moment for us where we could prove we could get over the line, and it wasn't to be. It wasn't to be for many reasons. The first reason, I just don't think we came out in that second half. I don't think that one of those players can seriously come off that field and say with honesty that they gave everything. There were some decent performances, especially in the midfield. I thought Zubimendi and Declan Rice were as good as they've been all season. Unfortunately, it wasn't backed up. I also think our defence was fine, especially in the first half. It's easy to get caught up and tense in the moment and feel like every time the opposition goes forward, it's dangerous. But in that first half, we more than dealt with Manchester City's attacks, and actually were the better side for a long period, especially in the first half an hour. And it was in that first half an hour that Kai Havertz had a great chance to give us the lead. Initially, watching it on the TV, it looked as if he was offside, but on replays, he wasn't. I wasn't that excited when he was put through because I thought, oh no, this is going to be chalked off if it goes in the net anyway. But it turns out he was onside. He did what he could. He tried to place it beyond the keeper. It was a decent save from Trafford. The ball rebounded out and found its way to Saka, and Saka then had another bite of it, but he was a little bit too close to him to lift it over him, tried for power, and again it was saved by Trafford. And that really was our best chance of the match, it turned out to be. Half-time came, 0-0. Okay, fair enough, still tense. Obviously it's a cup final, but you could see from the outset, a speculative crossfield pass through from City, and Kepa comes charging out of his goal in the style of Manuel Almunia. Doesn't read the bounce or the flight of the ball, lets it go over his shoulder. He's then on the back foot, and when Doku then knocks it past him, he's got his hands round him, and Doku's strong enough not to go down. From that point, you think, oh, well, he's through. He's only got to play a ball across the box and somebody can just tap it in. There were Arsenal players behind, and we may well have dealt with that situation last ditch. But seeing Kepa come out and do that, and I think the referee did us a favour by giving the free kick. It was just reminiscent of the rush of blood that you just don't really associate with this Arsenal team this season. Our disciplinary record this season is so good. We haven't had a sending off all season, barely many yellow cards in games. We are the ones that frustrate oppositions. We are the ones that put that pressure on from front to back that causes the mistake from the opposition. Those are the types of mistakes we expect the opposition to make against us. However, what we did today was we went back to default settings. I have to say though, Gabriel and Saliba deserve better. They deserve way better. than a goalkeeper like that behind them. The first goal came from Kepa flapping at a ball, and all of a sudden you think Fabianski's playing, sort of mid-2010s kind of Fabianski is flapping at the ball. And it was just unbearable to witness. This is a lesson. This is a lesson for Arteta, and it's a lesson for our boys. Let's go perspective-wise. In perspective, we are still in 3 competitions. We are still the favourites to win 2 out of the 3 of those competitions, and possibly all 3 if we can engage brain, if we can be ice cold. We don't need hotheads on that pitch. We don't need players that go into business for themselves, that try and get all of the glory. I have no problem with Cherky doing the keepy uppies and the winding up. It's part of the game. I know that the camera panned to Guardiola, and Guardiola was looking embarrassed for him, like as if to say, be professional. We've had players do that against us down the years. Cristiano Ronaldo used to toy with us whenever Manchester United went in front against us. So it's nothing new, and I don't think we should be frustrated or call Cherky names for it. I think at the end of the day, Manchester City beat us 2-0, and we shouldn't be looking at at the way the game got away from us. We should be looking at how we allowed Man City to come onto us so strongly, because when they came out in the second half, they were magnificent. They completely deserved this win, and I congratulate Manchester City, their fans, and the team. I think Manchester City completely deserved to win that game. From an Arsenal perspective, there's questions to be asked now of team selection. There's also questions to be asked of decisions during the game, and there's questions to be asked of our mentality and how we get the ball over the line, how we get over the line. Arteta went with Kepa today, and I would say before the game I'd back him for that, because Kepa was our goalkeeper throughout the tournament. He's been our goalkeeper throughout the FA Cup, and he's been very safe. And I've said on this channel that I feel safe with Kepa in goal. Following that performance, though, there has to be a moment where you say, is he right in those moments? I'd stick with him against Southampton. I'd put him in goal at Southampton in the FA Cup quarterfinals. I also would put him in the team possibly for the semi-finals. But Raya's our best goalkeeper, and our best team has to start in a cup final. The cup final is the one-off game where you only have one opportunity to win. So you have to put out the team that gives you the best chance to win that game. But that being said, again, I go back to Manchester City. They are serial winners. They were never to be taken lightly today. We were never favourites for that game. It was a 50-50 at best, because Manchester City have that experience. They have got a team full of players who have winners' medals and experiences in that situation. How many Arsenal players could you pick out of that lineup today that have played in a cup final? Not many in English cup finals, definitely not. Kai Havertz has played in the biggest final for biggest final in club football, and he scored the winning goal for Chelsea against Manchester City in that final of the Champions League. But he's just one player. I'm sure his experience does rub off on the rest, but the rest of them, they've not played in these types of finals. Yeah, Declan Rice has won the Conference League with West Ham. You know, we had experienced players on the bench like Gabriel Jesus, who's won the Carabao Cup many times with Manchester City. We need to get over the line. This team needs to do it together. It didn't happen today. We have to take it on the chin. We have to move on. We have to block out the noise. There will be noise all over the internet. There'll be rival fans calling us bottlers. There'll be rival fans saying that we're just not it. It's not going to happen for Arsenal this season. Trust me, this team is different. This team will get us over the line. We will win the Premier League this season. I know that we have had other opportunities and blown it, but with this squad, if we don't win it this season, it will be because of us. It won't be because of any other team. Only Arsenal can stop Arsenal from winning the Premier League. But today's about the Carabao Cup. I did watch Manchester City lift it. I did watch our players stood down on the halfway line watching as Manchester City lifted that trophy. They now have to use that. They need to use that and turn that into a positive. The fact that they should never have to experience that again should be the motivation. They don't want to experience that again. And for me, this is make or break for Arsenal. It's the international break now. There's a couple of games for England. A lot of the players in the Arsenal team will be going away on international duty. I do think a few Arsenal players will be held back because of injuries. And Thomas Tuchel has already said he's only going to play Saka and Rice in one of the two games if he does at all, because he knows what he's going to get from them. So playing them in these friendlies is going to be pointless, apart from gelling with the rest of the England squad. But 2 one-off friendlies in between now and the World Cup is not going to show you any more than what you've already seen, and it's not going to give them any more experience than they already have. So I just don't see the point in those players playing in those games and risking fatigue and injury because of it. I do think it's a good thing that they go off with the squad, clear their heads, get back to a base in their routines, and make sure that when they come back to the Arsenal, they're fully refreshed and they're ready for this fight. And it is a fight. We're in a fight. The Premier League is not done. There's 7 games to go now for Arsenal. 7 games to win the title. That's 21 points up for grabs. Last season, in a period where 21 points were up for grabs, we ended up only getting 5, 6, 7 points because of draws and defeats. This season, we're not doing that. Have a look. That was our 4th defeat of the season, and it was in a cup final. There's so much to be put into perspective here. And that's why I've had to wait a good 6 hours before I then started to talk on here, because the emotion would have overtaken my rationality. The rationale is we still have 3 opportunities to come away with big silverware this season. The Carabao Cup is big silverware. Don't get me mistaken. It is not a Mickey Mouse trophy. It is not a tournament that should be taken lightly. Yes, it is the 4th priority out of 4. Yes, it's the one where we will play the kids and we will put fringe players in to give them game time. But it's not a tournament that should be thrown away by the wayside. It really does annoy me when I see teams like Fulham, West Ham, teams that aren't in Europe, putting out a second string side in the Carabao Cup, because that should be one of their priorities, to win a trophy this season. Their priority, these types of teams, their priority, Nottingham Forest, West Ham, Fulham, Crystal Palace, their first priority is to make sure that they are in the Premier League next season. Absolutely, that's their big priority, because that's where the money is. The money is in the Premier League. But for the fans, to give a love letter to your fans, to have that cup final experience, to go to Wembley, to play against one of the elite teams, to test your mettle for 90 minutes in a one-off game. Surely, even if you have to rest 2 or 3 players, don't change 11 players in a match. That's my rant over for the clubs that should be doing more to make this tournament even more special. But it is a special tournament. How good were those semi-finals? Man City and Newcastle, Arsenal, Chelsea. I mean, it was electric, that first leg, the 3-2 win at Stamford Bridge, and we did what we needed to do in the second leg, which was nullify the threat and then hit him on a sucker punch at the other end in the last couple of minutes. But the final today, it's taught me one thing, really, that yes, you can get your hopes up. Yes, you can dream, and yes, you can get all tense before these types of games. But the perspective is that at the end of it, it's 11 men against 11 men, and the other team has every right to win that tournament as you are. It's not all about Arsenal. It's all about football. And today I think football won. To be fair, I think the better team won. The team that wanted to win won. The team that gave everything won. They had 9s, 10s in performances. Rodri was fantastic. Haaland a little bit off it, and I think Saliba dealt with him well. Jerky was immense in that midfield. Semenyo absolutely roasted in Capier, and I do think that we brought on Calafiori a little bit too late. He had a chance towards the end with a header, but we were already 2-0 down then. Would have given us hope, but I just think the best team won today, and that's what it's all about. The better team won today. And that's not to say that sometimes the team that doesn't play well shouldn't win, because we've done it a lot this season. We've gone into games and been pragmatic and still come out the winners. I just hope that when we come back from the international break and we play, 2 games before the next Premier League game, I think we've got Southampton, and then we've got the first leg of the Champions League quarterfinals away at Sporting Lisbon. I just hope that those games give us that opportunity to cool down a bit, get back out there, refreshed, and really drive home this run-in now, because there are still so many prizes to play for, so many big moments to come, so many twists and turns. I still think we will win the league. I do think that it will take something pretty special from Manchester City for them to come back at us, and that doesn't mean that it's impossible. Man City are still the top, the kings of the country, as they proved today. Well, that's it from me. Thank you very much for listening. Please remember to like and subscribe, and leave a comment below if you have any thoughts, disagreements, or if you agree with me. I just want to hear from you. Thank you again, and I'll see you next time. Might put a little post up for the England internationals, but it might be 2 weeks off for me as well to calm down after that final. Thanks a lot. Take care. Bye-bye.